Right, so what we're going to do here is AI imaging stuff. And this is a fast way to get images into your blog posts. Now, we're putting out a lot of content, and I've got staff going in and manually creating images and stuff and then uploading them. And it's a time-consuming process. So I've come across this AI Post Pix, which is a pretty fantastic plugin. Now, once you've installed it, you can actually go into here and you can just create your own AI images in here, which is not the power of this because you can do that anyway in Midjourney and other software. Midjourney has been the one that I've been liking probably the most. But the power of this is that it automates a lot of stuff. Now, this is the settings page where you put in your API key. So you've got to put in your OpenAI API key. You need that for the prompts. And I'm using the GPT-4o. It's fairly irrelevant which one you're using here. They're all fairly good for the prompting, but the 4o coming out quite well. I won't scroll up because then my API keys will be on show. And then there's a stable diffusion one, which I've been playing with, that creates images. OpenAI also can create images. I'll dive into that later. So anyway, that's the settings page, which is pretty simple. You need to mess about getting the API key from the admin area of those. Eden, I've been messing about with, but couldn't get it to work, so we're leaving that. I'll close that. This we don't really need. And the power comes in. So if we go into a category, if we go into some posts here, and then we'll find one which, for example, doesn't have a featured image, so it could be a good one to test. And then what I've also found is you need to have the Gutenberg on. Now, I have a plugin that I use, this free plugin, custom, what's it called? Classic Editor, which we normally activate so that we don't see this stupid Gutenberg thing. I can't stand this Gutenberg editing. But with the Classic Editor, where you see how WordPress used to be, this plugin doesn't seem to work properly. Now, with this, it does work quite well. There's a few little bugs and stuff, but it does actually work. So first you go down and click on Find My Prompt, and then this is using OpenAI, the API key. And what it's doing is it's going through this using the title and the content and everything, and using a prompt to create a prompt to then create the image. So you don't have to actually make your own prompt or ask ChatGPT or even go to ChatGPT, which is wonderful and very fast. Now, then this is separate. So just because this is using OpenAI 4o, we've set it up. This is using whatever model you choose and whichever one you've set up with the keys. So this one, the key is not set up, so it's not working. You can test that out if you get it working. This one is good. DALL-E 3 going through OpenAI is complete garbage, in my opinion. It might work for some landscapes, but it's not going to work for any people or action, or it's just doing weird stuff. But anyway, if we go into stable diffusion, and then these seem to vary in quality and price, which I've been testing. So let's just go for the stable image core first, and we'll do a 16:9. And what I've also found is it doesn't seem to matter if you change the size of these. I would have thought that they'd charge you more credits if you went for larger sizes, which doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm going to go for this 1344. Number of images as well. It seems to work with the DALL-E 3 if you put this up. And it doesn't seem to work at all. If you set this to 2, 3 or whatever for stable diffusion, it just makes you one image. These styles also don't do anything unless you have the Pro version, which is about $4 or $5 a month, which actually you don't need, I don't think. You can run this on one website, apparently. I've tried running it on 2 websites and it still works. And it's completely free. Apart from that, you're paying for the credits for the generation of the images. You're paying stable diffusion now directly. So if we leave it on the stable image core and hit generate, and right, it only took a few seconds to do that, and it's pretty damn good. I'm quite happy with that. It looks nice. It looks real, and it looks pretty cool. So far in my testing, stable image core seems to be quite good. And The Stable Diffusion 3.0 seems to be also very good. Now, if we click Add to Post, it's a little bit buggy. Like when you click Add to Post, then it's sometimes unresponsive and sometimes it just takes ages. It's probably not going to work at all now. I'm recording, but what it normally does is when you click Add to Post, it looks like it's doing nothing and it's done nothing, and then about 20 seconds later, it just puts it in the post, and now it's not actually working. Right, so I've gone into another browser because that just browser wasn't working, and it was before, but it isn't now. This, I just thought I'd quickly hit a DALL-E 3 one just to show how it looks. It looks, it's just not very good. I mean, this is one of the better ones that I've ever seen, and it's still pretty bad quality. So I just wouldn't bother with DALL-E 3. We'll go and generate another one from Stable Image Core. Well, actually, since you've already seen the quality of that, let's do the Stable Diffusion 3.0. And this is a slightly different prompt that was generated in this new browser. But yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, if you click on Set as Featured Image, this is the function that doesn't work when you've got Classic Editor turned on. It just sets it as the featured image, and it looks like it's worked and everything. And then you press Update or Save Post, and it's just removed it. It just doesn't happen. But this works fine. It saves it and it sets it. And what you can then do is also add this to Post. And this is okay. This is working quicker in this browser. This is just using Microsoft Edge. And what it does is it dumps it down here at the bottom. So I'll hit Control X and then go up somewhere. And we'll just put it in the post with a Control V and then save it. And that's all pretty good. It's all looking pretty good. Now, I'll just show you this one. If we do Stable Diffusion 3.0 Turbo. And what I've done is I've made a sheet here. You can take a screenshot of that from this video if you need. And it's showing how many credits it costs. So because I was thinking that the different sizes would affect how many credits there were, that's why this is the case. That's why these are all written in here. But it doesn't. I've tested all different sizes and it seems to still be 6.5 credits for Stable Diffusion 3.0, which seems to be the best model out of all of these. The Turbo, we'll see how it looks here. Now, what the Turbo does is it does it faster and it does it a bit cheaper. And it's okay for some scenarios. If you're doing illustrations more or less natural stuff, it's kind of okay. It sort of does. It's more saturated. It's more comic book type. It's more illustrated type thing. Personally, I think it's not as good. And it costs 4 credits, so it's a little bit cheaper. Now, you get 10... What do you get? You get 1,000 credits, I think, for $10. Let me just check. Yeah, so you get 1,000 credits for $10, which is what I got, and I've used up a bunch already. So it's costing 1 cent per credit. So you've got to go back to the reference sheet to see how much that costs. So it's 6.5 cents. Very cheap for the speed and everything about this. 4 cents for the Turbo, and for the Core is 3 cents. Then I've also messed about with these ones, which are outrageously cheap. It's a third of a credit, so it's not even 1 cent to produce an image, but it's pretty bad quality. The V1.6 and the SDXL, these are like the old models that they had. I don't think we're going to bother using this one, really. And like I said, it's a bit buggy. So what happened is it just wouldn't let me scroll back up in the post there after that. So I would definitely suggest, if you're generating images, hitting the save button in the post every time you've added an image, not trying to do 3 or 4 and then save it, because it'll possibly crash. So I've just refreshed it and we'll do the prompt again. Okay. Let's just play with these just for fun. And some of the resolutions, the ratios, are not available on certain models. So be aware of that. So sometimes if you have another model chosen, it will just won't show anything. But this one has the same. So this is the SDXL. which is 0.2 credits. So it's 20th of a cent, and it's not bad. That's not a bad image, to be honest. I would actually use that. You might have to go through it in detail, and there might be weird stuff going on, but not bad. And now this is not responding. So this is what I'm talking about. It's a bit buggy. You might need to be opening it in a different browser or deleting the browser cache and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it doesn't look like this is going to work. It already crashed in Chrome. This is silly because now I'm recording this. It's crashing every time. And before I did about 10 different posts and loads of images and it didn't crash. So anyway, what happens is you hit add to post, and the first time you do that, it will add it here, and then you can cut it and paste it in where you need it. The second time, which is another bug of this plugin, is it doesn't do anything. You click the add to post, and then it says it's added to post, and then it doesn't put anything in here. Then what you've got to do is click on this plus button and then add the media from the media library, but it's already copied that image from there. It's already uploaded it into the media library, so it is available, and that only takes a few extra seconds than cutting and pasting it up, but it is quite fast doing it. Right, I'm using an Opera browser now, and we're going to try it with a different model, the Stable Diffusion 1-6. Okay, so that's put out something that's actually pretty good. If there was any kind of people or faces, arms and legs in this, it would be a complete mess because it chops them off and messes up faces and everything. But this has not done too bad of a job. Let's see what happens if we click add to post. Right, it wasn't too long. And it has done it. This is probably because I've opened it into a new browser and started fresh and everything. But it does it the first time. And it should definitely have my old one there because I saved it already. But then the second time, it doesn't seem to do it. I'll put this in there. And then save it. And then we'll try a different model. We'll do the 3.0, which is actually the best one. Right, so this is what the 3.0 is giving me, and I think it looks pretty bad. Not very good at all. The other one, the cheaper thing, was better. So it does depend what you're doing with this, really. Try the turbo again. And then, yeah, you've got that sort of like cartoony comic book type style, which that always gives, which is quite nice for some stuff, actually. It's nice to sort of mix them up and throw one of these in now and then. I'm not going to bother adding all these to post because it'll just take too long. Let's just test the core again. Overall, I think the best were the core and the 3.0, and then throw a few of the turbos in just for a slightly different mixing up for the style. See, there's the core, and the core is actually amazing. That's perfect, that image. It looks very natural and very good detail and everything. And there is this other button here, which is save to library, which you can do, but actually it's doing exactly the same thing as the add to post. When you click this, it also saves it to the library. You can download it to your PC if you want, but I didn't really need that. And then this is what I'm talking about. The second time you do it, it says added to post, and it has not added it to post. But then you don't have to keep clicking add to post. You just simply come up here, click where you want it, and then, okay, it's a little bit buggy and it's a tiny bit clunky, but then the media will be there. That's the latest image right there. And it nicely makes this alt text as well, which is wonderful. Good for the SEO. And nice and natural as well. And then what it does is it'll... Right, it has put it in. Yeah, it's put it in right where I selected. Now, be aware that sometimes it will put it down at the bottom still. And then you've got to cut and paste it where you want it. But actually, that's worked fine. So you just can go through and do a few more of those like that. Then that was a cheap image, I think. Yeah, 3 credits. So that's 3 cents for that image versus the 3.0, 6.5 cents. I'm surprised that the 3.0 was not very good quality, because usually that's the best, especially if there's any kind of sports or people or other stuff like that. See, look, this again looks, it looks okay. The quality's fairly good. It's just a bit weird, I think, and it's a bit boring and stuff compared to the other ones. I'd probably say that's good enough to use and use it. It's doing the job for what we want, a home kind of urban garden on a shelf. Add to post, hasn't added it there. We'll just click up there and then do add media image. And then media library, and there's the image there nicely. So it doesn't take too long to do that, and it's got the alt done. And then, has it put it in the right place? Yes, I don't know what this is. This is all Gutenberg buggy rubbish stuff. It's not very fun using Gutenberg. I don't know why that box is still there. I'll just delete that. And then that's there. That's fine. That's it. So that is a very simple, very fast actually way to get AI images generated in your posts. And they're very, very relevant and related to the post content, much faster than doing all this manually in the 4 or 5 different steps and then uploading it all yourself. Yeah, it's going to save a lot of time, and it's extremely cheap when you're paying only between 3 and 6 cents an image. And let's have a little quick look at how they look on the live site. There we go. This is actually the featured image. Now I'm going to turn that off in the settings, I think, because I don't want that right at the top, which I've done on other sites, which is why I added it here. So it'll start off with this text, and then it'll go into this image like fairly soon, but not like this at the top. Plus, it's way too big, and it seems to lose resolution. If you look at this, it's kind of stretched it or something, and this is like nice and sharp. So yeah, I'm definitely going to remove that featured image showing at the top. Yeah, and then we've got one of the other models. It is a bit weird. That's one of the cheap models. Maybe the XSD XL or something. I think there's another one. Yep, this was a cheaper model as well. Maybe that was the core. I can't remember now. And this was the 3.0. There we go.